Hello, and welcome to Grassroots Takeover, the show that guides you smoothly through the insurrection.
Yeah, baby, smooth insurrection. I love it. You can find us on Facebook, like our Facebook page, Grassroots Takeover on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, Groots Takeover, or you can email us, grassrootstakeover@gmail.com.
If you try and find us actually broadcasting, you might have trouble with that, because at the moment we are
rogue.
We are rogue. We've gone rogue and renegade. We're actually in a broken greenhouse in the middle of Camden, in a social centre, and we're doing our broadcast from in there. Because we thought we'd be true revolutionaries. What's on today's show?
What's on today's show? On today's show, we are going to talk about the racist van. The racist van is a van with racist slogans on it that the Home Office, or the Go Home Office, as somebody here brilliantly called it, because the van has Go Home to immigrants written on it, has been driving around, basically scaring people, freaking people out, and there's been a big complaint from all sorts of areas of the community about blatant racism by the Home Office.
Blatant racism just has that effect, doesn't it? But
yeah.
we'll go into that in more depth.
Yeah.
But also, we're going to talk on a slightly cheerier note, I suppose, which is the Balcombe protests.
Yep.
If you don't know Balcombe, it's just below London. It's a quaint little countryside area, and it's been invaded by a company called Quadrilla who want to frack the living shit out of it. But the community have just come out.
That sounded kind of good. The way you said it like that, you're going to make it sound bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to, put some energy into it. You're sat laid back having a fag. So
I'm not having a fag.
So yeah, they're gonna frack the living shit out of it so they can make a fuck ton of money and screw over all the locals with lots of horrible toxic chemicals and destroy their ecosystem. But the locals have said actually no, and they've gone out and they're camping out in the road. They're blocking off trucks. They're having assemblies. And even more excitingly now, hardcore environmental activists called Reclaim the Power, who were doing an event up in the north to get a whole sort of a new army of environmental activists together to take action, have decided to move down to Balcombe. So that small community camp's going to be invaded soon by a whole army of hardcore environmental
seriously
nutters.
organised, very cool environmental people that will have a lot of very constructive and useful things to do.
Yeah, that.
Bring that on, and Grassroots Takeover will be down there reporting from Balcombe.
So we should start with our first song, which is, because we're going to talk about some pretty horrible issues to do with our beloved country, our beloved white and superior imperial country that wishes to kick out all of the people that show a little difference so that we can avoid the reality that we're actually all just getting screwed over by a ruling class.
Yeah.
So in honour of that topic, which is mostly about racism and immigration, we're going to play Manu Chao, Clandestino.
Solo voy con mi pena, sola va mi condena. Correré mi destino para burlar la ley, perdido en el corazón de la grande Babilón. Me dicen el clandestino por no llevar papel. Pa' una ciudad del norte yo me fui a trabajar. Mi vida la dejé entre Ceuta y Gibraltar. Soy una raya en el mar, fantasma en la ciudad. Mi vida va prohibida, dice la autoridad. Solo voy con mi pena, sola va mi condena. Correré mi destino por no llevar papel, perdido en el corazón de la grande Babilón. Me dicen el clandestino, yo soy el quebra ley. Mano negra clandestina, peruano clandestino, africano clandestino, marihuana ilegal. Solo voy con mi pena, sola va mi condena. Correré mi destino para burlar la ley, perdido en el corazón de la grande Babilón. Me dicen el clandestino por no llevar papel. Argelino clandestino, ni nigeriano clandestino, boliviano clandestino, mano negra ilegal.
شوف الله يخليك إذا ما تسالي إذا ما تدوز الصبح شوف داك السماء من الشمال ديال الكرفان ولا شي ناس يمشيو لموريتانيا ويجي معاهم باش يزيد راه غادي يعطيو واحد هذا واحد.
Okay, that was Manu Chao, Clandestino. We are on Grassroots Takeover, broadcasting from in a squatted greenhouse. For your revolutionary entertainment, you can find us on Facebook, or and all the usual revolutionary outlets like Twitter and things like that.
Really alternative.
Yeah. We're just so mainstream. Let's face it. We want to be successful.
So now we are going to talk about the racist van. So the racist van was because it's finished now. It was only on.
Well, we can
week.
establish from your description it's a van.
It's a van. And it's racist.
And it's racist.
It was a van that the Home Office, or aka the Go Home Office, have been driving around various areas. It was in my area, Ealing. It was in Brent. It was in like a few areas of London, the more multicultural areas of London.
It's a test pilot, isn't it? It's they're testing it out, so they're going to roll it out over the country.
Yeah, that's why it was only just on for a week. So this van, if anybody hasn't, it was quite a big news story, so maybe a lot of people have heard. But if you haven't heard of it, it was a van that had. What did it say on it? Are you an illegal immigrant? Go home or
face arrest.
Or face arrest.
And then it had a stamp in the corner that was like it was boasting about how many people have been arrested that week or something. It was like 106 arrests this week.
Yeah.
So you're walking along and maybe you are an immigrant, maybe you're an illegal immigrant, or maybe you're just a person who is labelled like that, because you don't look like the pristine white middle class British stereotype or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're walking along and this van basically stares at you with this triumphant language going, hey, if you're one of these people who
die, motherfucker! Die!
Exactly. If you're not part of that little top slice of pyramid, that takes advantage of everything, then hey, we've got places like Guantanamo Bay. We've got places. We've got the camps near Bexhill. It's like we can send you there. We can arrest you.
And it had like a scary dark picture and like some handcuffs.
On it. Yeah. And not that's the first issue. You're that person who feels directly threatened by that kind of stuff. But then there's everybody else who's just in the middle, and their attention is being taken away by the fact that they're being completely fucked by a political and economic system, controlled by a tiny little group of people.
We know, Mark, that the reason the country is in desperate poverty is because of illegal immigrants stealing all the jobs and wasting all the money.
But you can't say that.
It's because of the disabled benefit scroungers that are pouncing off the stage.
It's those fucking mentally ill people just, like bouncing around.
It up.
Taking all of our jobs and everything else in the police force.
Yeah. Obviously, we're being sarcastic.
Ooh, Ali's disclaimer. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This campaign, God knows how these decisions get made.
Yeah, whoever thought of that is hating it now because it's got so rinsed.
Well, because, it's really quite hard to contemplate because we found out, I was at a meeting the other day and we found out that the government has a whole group of civil servants that are just paid to promote UK weapons companies, right? So your taxes and everybody else's taxes are paying for a whole crew of people, probably about 20 or 30, full time. All their job is just to get BA Systems, who make landmines and laser guns or whatever, and promote them all around the world, and we pay for that, So there's probably another department of like how to spread intolerance and racism and confuse the hell out of people and spread prejudice against vulnerable groups. And we're just paying them for that. And we have the whole department of people devoted to it.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Maybe that's just the Home Office. Maybe I'm being naive.
Let alone the department that are paid to dream up ways to rape activists.
Well, the thing is, right, we've got on our soapbox, okay? Okay, but it's not as if people didn't respond to this. People have been responding, and some of it's actually quite funny.
Yes. So the racist van was driving around for a week. People saw it and basically thought, "What the fuck? This is taking the piss." And there's a text number on this van. If you need our help to go home, text this number and we'll ring you up and basically deport you. Was the plan. So people saw this number and they started texting this number, thinking, "Fuck off." So there was some brilliant things. There's this dude called Pukka Punjabi on Twitter, and Fucker Punjabi just started rinsing this van to shit, and he got hashtag racist van trending too in the UK on Twitter. So Fucker Punjabi, basically, he texted the van just to take the piss out of them, and the Home Office rang him back, and so I'll read out a few of his texts. He says, I just had a call back from the Home Office after texting the hashtag racist van. I managed to keep him on the phone for 20 minutes. Eventually established that he would not provide a taxi for me to go home to Willesden when I'm stuck in Harrow. Hashtag racist van. Said I didn't have a visa. He reassured me that I don't need one to go between Willesden and Harrow, so I am not an overstayer.
Not yet, mate.
So he's just basically ringing him up, winding him up.
So yeah, I mean, hang on, we should put an advert out. So
no, you can't do it. You can't do it now.
You can't,
because I've done it. I was going to. I texted them, and we'll read you in a minute.
Because we did glance at their Twitter account just to see if and there was just tons of people just taking the piss all over the place.
But yeah, I texted them because I was going to record the phone conversation on my phone and play it on this show about how much bullshit I could get them to say to me on the phone. But they've given up. Like after a week, they've stopped. I don't know if it's because they got the piss.
Is this another one? Is this another Twitter?
Yeah. Well, no, these aren't Twitters. So anyway, so you can't text the racist van anymore. But so we've got some more things that they're not tweets that people did about the racist van, but they're texts. Because when I text the racist van, I just text them, please help me to go home, because I want them to ring me and have a serious conversation with me so I could wind them up. But some people just text them bullshit in the first place. This is quite funny. This is some of the bullshit that people text to the racist van numbers. Hi. I am worried about the possibility of future deportation. Can you help me with some paperwork? I recently moved back from Edinburgh to Cardiff. However, I'm still on the electoral roll at my old address in Scotland, and I'm worried that if there is a yes vote in next year's referendum, I'll be deported back to Scotland. Can you send me the forms to rectify this oversight? Thanks.
Right.
I love that one. I think that one's really good.
So we got another one with hello, I'm worried that I may be guilty of illegally residing in the UK. I have only managed to trace back the ancestry of the last 4 generations of my family. None of which, as far as I know, have ever held a valid visa. I'm even more scared that, according to Professor Richard Dawkins, I may have originally migrated from Africa. How far back should I track my family's countries of birth to ensure that I'm not an illegal? And if so, which home should I go back to?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd like to see the responses they came up with.
Yeah, I think they would have ignored them ones. They
should just have an official line. It's this is a racist propaganda service designed to back up a culture of elite imperial interest. Please don't call this number again. Something like that. But that would just be a.
If I'd have got them on the phone, I was going to spin them all this bullshit about where is my spiritual home? Can you help me with my heart? I'm lonely and stuff like that.
Exactly.
What's the true nature of home?
When things have gone this far, I mean, it's not as if everything was rosy red before and suddenly racism has just appeared on the scene, But like when things go this far, I mean, it just provides an ample opportunity for us to come together as a people, not as a nation or a colour or whatever, just as a people to say fuck all that bollocks and take the piss out of it because it's just over the top. It's ridiculous. I mean, you've got Liberty's campaign. Liberty, they've responded actually kind of by getting their own van.
Is Liberty a charity or an NGO? So
I don't remember.
Anyway, it's a well-known group. Shami Chakrabarti is always on the news. Liberty,
but they've got a van of their own driving around, presumably in the same areas, and it just says, "Stirring up tension and division in the UK illegally. Home Office, think again."
So Liberty have actually mounted a legal response to this to say that they have breached the 2010 Equality Act by sending this racist van out with its racist propaganda around London. And there's another legal challenge to this that I've noticed as well. I mean, so it's not only people have texted the racist van to tell them to piss off. It's not only that people have tweeted about it and got it trending on Twitter that is outrageously racist. There's now 2 legal challenges coming up to say that this is not acceptable to the people of this country. So there's been a great big fuck off has gone back to the racist van, so that's pretty groovy.
It is weird, like, you remember when we first started the show back in the day, get nostalgic. When we first started the show, we just really couldn't do anything without having to talk about the EDL and all of that because it was just overflowing. There was just, because of the incident that happened. And so every time we would like to talk about all sorts, but we just couldn't avoid talking about the EDL and what was going on. Yeah. And here we are, like, I don't know, a month and a half later or something like that, and the Home Office is just sending vans out telling everybody to blame the whole situation that the fuckers in charge have put us in on all of the most vulnerable people. Yeah. And on top of that, they've, I'll go into that in a bit actually, the spot checks. Yeah. But also there's there's been some van spoofs. If you type in, like, I don't know, racist van spoof,
We'll
probably.
post some of the pictures.
Yeah, this is my favourite one. It's a van that someone's superimposed.
These are vans that people have made, pictures of vans that people have made up in response.
Yeah, this one, I think this has got to be my favourite. It just says in massive letters, "Fuck off back to Eton."
On the side of a van with a similar picture. That's beautiful. And my favourite one is a van with, they've put a little tiny head of Ian Duncan Smith into the cab of the van, and on the side of the van it says the van is labelled as a DWP van, and it just says "Bring out your dead," which I absolutely think is genius, and that kind of relates to the war on the disabled community that's happening at the moment. There's some appalling stories in the news at the moment about how disabled people are in fear of being relegated to what are basically workhouses, which, when I say these things, and I feel like I'm sort of just being exaggerating and talking hyperbole and like being sort of promoting crisis thinking or something like that, but it really has got to a bizarre stage in this country of what's actually happening. I mean, the abuse and pressure that the disabled community is facing has literally, I mean, with the bedroom tax, with the changes to all the disabled benefits, disability benefits, it's just gone out of this world. And you'll be hearing a little bit about that, I should think, from me, listeners, over the next month or two, because it might be that we're working on quite an interesting project relating to that. So watch that space.
And keep the humour flowing, keep sending your tweets, keep doing these superimposed pictures, keep taking the piss out of it, because, I think this is all about fear at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's all about just, having this propaganda everywhere to just pump everyone full of a little bit of confusion, but just dollops of fear, just so everyone just feels really like, I just think I'm living in a crazy society. I don't really know what to do apart from just don't talk to anyone and just hope it all gets through. Well, that's the plan. Well, that can all get broken down in an instant with a bit of common sense and a bit of humour, because you just take the piss out of it.
Yeah. I know. I kind of feel like sort of I'm kind of having a dual response to it. In a way, I do just feel this sort of unbelievable grief. I can't believe that we're actually, I was going to say, have we destroyed the NHS, or are we destroying the NHS? Have we destroyed the welfare state, or are we destroying the welfare state? Some of the things that are happening, I can't get my head around, and I really don't think the country has understood or come to terms with it. I think there's some sort of shock doctrine thing going on where everybody's completely and utterly amazed. So in one sense, I feel like I'm just starting to negotiate with the grief I feel around some of the destruction in the country that's happening, and on the other side I feel like, hey, it's fucking time to party, motherfuckers, bring it on. You've got to see some of the shit that's coming now, baby, right back at you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that as well, like
we'll just add another cheery slice to the cake.
Fucking play, man.
I should point out that the Scriptonite Daily's been doing some good writing on this. So if people want more information, that's a good place to look. Scriptonite Daily's blog, which you can find on Facebook and all the usual places. And she also wrote a piece about the spot checking that's going on. It's all part of the same thing. You've got immigration officers going up to people, and this is another test pilot, I think, and it's only in about 3 stations right now, or 4 stations in London.
Stations.
Yeah, and they've been instructed to just approach people and ask for ID in the hope to rustle out this enormous evil population of illegal immigrants, right? Well, of course, there's a couple of problems with that. Like, for one, I mean, who do you think they're going for? Do you think they're going for people who look like they've got a bit of money, people with white skin?
Can I say, Mike, I haven't been asked.
Yeah, I haven't been asked either, coincidentally. So, I mean, there's that problem. There's the fact that, well, how do you train them to spot an illegal immigrant? You basically racially profile people and profile the poor, so it's just a way of being harassed. And if you read the reports, I mean, the people are reporting that they were just minding their own business, and 3 big people come up to them with like scary uniforms and are quite full on with them, and they're treating it like second-class people. So that's the first thing.
So they're trying to randomly pick up illegal immigrants by spot checking people at tube stations.
Well, that's the thing. The other thing is so ridiculous, because the population of like illegal immigrants, nobody really knows what it is, but they blow it out of proportion so massively. Just like when those figures. What is it? Just let me get it right. Where everybody's been being told all the time that the big problem, like one of the biggest problems, the thing you should dob in your friends and family about and send them to prison, is benefit cheats. That they're literally destroying the country and gutting it from like head to toe. If we don't get rid of this, we're going to all end up in complete misery and isolation. Well, as it turns out, the actual figures for people who are actually cheating the benefit system, the damage that causes to the country economically, amounts to less than administrative losses from the Department of Working Pensions.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
So, like,
The mistakes cost more than the fraud.
Yeah, so
by quite a long way. I think it's double or something.
The atmosphere that's being put out by sort of, the Sun and the Daily Mail and the BBC and the politicians and all these other people is so disconnected from reality. And that's why they have to be so over the top with it. And they think they can push that sort of idea, that view of the world further by actually saying, yeah, because you're so freaked out by this overpopulation of all these people trying to steal you and things, not us, not the people in charge who just bailed out all the banks and are putting all our money into, Saudi Arabian weapons. No. But these people, we're gonna cover the tube stations with immigration officers. Thankfully, one of the good things about this country, one of the few good things that we could talk about, is that immigration officers don't actually have a lot of power.
Yeah.
So, and they shouldn't, because you don't want a sort of police force out there able to just deport people at the drop of a hat or imprison people at the drop of a hat, because we all know how nation states behave in this kind of stuff. You want to look at it, just look at Nazi Germany and look at all the other places. When you empower states to just treat people like that, as second-class people without due process, then it all goes horribly wrong. So thankfully, one of the things we do have in this country is a relatively weak and powerless immigration police.
Yeah, and the South All Black Sisters did an amazing action at one of the tube stations to get rid of, I can't remember the name of these officers. What are they called? There's an acronym for these officers and I forget what it is. But anyway, the South All Black Sisters went down and basically just harangued a couple of these officers until they had to give up and go away. They were chanting all sorts of things at them, including stuff like speak Punjabi or go home, which I really enjoyed, to these officers that looked really confused. So they were surrounded by this massive gang of really furious women who barracked them and gave them shit until they fucked off. Woohoo!
Okay, well,
I'll post the video of that.
Well, it's our duty as well to there's a website that some people have put up, and it's all about this issue, and they also have put up a thing about knowing your rights, and it's pretty easy for us to copy it and paste it into our show list, and so we want to read that out. So I will read out. So if you're on a tube station, it doesn't matter whether you're an immigrant or not. I mean, this is it's not about dividing people into those camps. If you get approached by immigration officers or people asking to see ID based on where do you come from and all this kind of thing, then listen to this carefully. This is produced by a website dealing with this issue. I forget what it is, but I'm going to read it out to you. But I'm going to do it to a piece of music.
We're going to do it to our favourite piece of music in the world. Is this our favourite? It's my favourite piece of music.
Well, it's certainly one of mine. Yeah. So here we go.
This is a Grassroots Takeover classic.
Introduction to Your Rights. So, if you're on the tube, minding your own business, ready to go to work and maybe get ripped off by a boss all day and then go home to your crummy little flat where all of your money is going to a landlord who owns properties everywhere and ripping off the country blind, and you just want to have that little 5 minutes of reading your Metro newspaper before you go and do that the whole day, and then some horrible people in uniforms come up to you with some training that makes them all intimidating. One of them's nice, the other two are nasty, and they're surrounding you basically and standing above you about a foot tall, and they say, right, where are your papers? I mean, you could react a number of ways. You could get shocked, you're horrid, but actually, fear not. Just take a deep breath, look them in the eye. What to do if you are stopped by immigration officers? Oh, and this is the acronym you were talking about, the UKBA.
Oh, the UKBA, yeah, that's what I wanted. UK Border Agency.
If the UK Border Agency or police stop you in the street and ask you about your immigration status, you do not have to answer any questions.
Repeat, you do not have to answer any questions.
You do not have to tell them your name or address.
Do not tell them your name or address.
Tell them that you do not want to talk to them.
Tell them to fuck off.
Stay polite is the next remark, but confident. Stay polite but confident. And just as a subnote, you can walk away. They are not allowed to stop you just because of your race. They can only stop you if they have a good reason. If they stop you just because of how you look or the language you speak, tell them, this is racist. This is illegal. I will make a complaint. So just to repeat that, if they stop you just because of your look or your language, tell them, this is racist. This is illegal. I will make a complaint. So if you are detained, call Ball for Immigration Detainees. 02072473590.
You see, if it had been me doing that, it would have finished just bang on just before the music finished.
Always a critic. Always a critic. So anyways, that was the first part of the show done. We've discussed racism and horrible political and economic elites and all of that. We got on our soapbox and we've given some information out. Now we want to go to a bit of music for your listening pleasure. It's by Flux Pavilion, a remix. It's called Excuse Me. And when we come back, we're going to talk to some people on the ground at the Balcombe
We're going to
protest.
speak to Jamie Kelsey Fry on the ground at Balcombe.
All right, see you in a minute.
Fracking involves injecting a mixture of water, sand and chemicals into the rock at high pressure, which releases the gas or oil and allows it to flow out to the head of the well. It's been linked to small earth tremors in Lancashire, and campaigners in the United States say it's leaked gas into their drinking water. The government lifted a moratorium on fracking and it's now offering tax breaks to try to encourage the extraction of shale gas.
What exactly is a frack? Are they putting poisonous liquids in the ground?
The environment will be devastated.
actually don't want it for anybody's backyard. And it's the risks rather than anything else that they haven't addressed.
The campaign by the people of Balcombe has attracted wide interest from all across this beautiful part of rural England because the geological information suggests that underneath the surface of this part of the country lies oil, but in particular, huge reserves of gas.
So that was a track that was featuring some sounds from the Balcombe protest, the fracking protest.
You know what I'm like, Ali? I just can't resist pinching from Al Jazeera and The Guardian and Channel 4.
Yeah.
Anyways, rather than getting their feedback, why don't we speak to the people of Balcombe?
Yes, there's some exciting news coming from Balcombe at the moment. There's some very exciting news, so we're going to ring the camp now and see what is happening live.
Who are we speaking to?
We're going to be speaking to Jamie Kelsey Fry. Jamie Kelsey Fry, contributing editor of the New Internationalist, occupier extraordinaire, general all-round legend. We're just going to give him a ring.
Hello, is that Resonance FM?
Hi, Jamie. It's Ali and Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing beautiful, and it's an honour to be with Ali and Mark.
So, Jay, you've just got down to Balcombe today, so we were going to ask you a little bit about what's happening down there at Balcombe.
Yeah, okay, let's go, because I've got a little juice on the phone, and it's a pleasure to be talking to you guys. So, I'm just going to give you a bit of background straight away. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so Reclaim the Power are coming here on the 16th. Your listeners can look it up easily, no dash for gas. And originally, Reclaim the Power, it's a coalition of economic justice as well as climate justice movements, which I think is fascinating. They were originally going to be going to West Burton Power Station. A 7-hour meeting on Sunday, tortuous meeting involving tears because people put so much work into West Burton. But we came to the consensus conclusion that instead we're going to go to Balcombe, but we're going to work very carefully with the community activists already here. So I'm talking to you guys at the moment, actually in the middle of Balcombe town, where a team of us have been going and delivering a letter to every letterbox. I've never been a post in my life, it's riveting, but watch out for the dogs. But there's about 800 households here, so we're delivering letters into every door. And on Friday there's going to be a meeting in the local community hall where all the locals can come and talk with Reclaim the Power people so that they can have all their concerns heard, all their questions answered, so that everyone can move forward together knowing that they can work with Reclaim the Power, trust Reclaim the Power, and that we can bring something in addition to what's already happening here. So earlier on today, when we arrived first, we cycled down into the camp itself. I think probably because you're residents, a lot of your listeners already know what it looks like. So it's like a long country lane with wide verges on either side where people are camping. It's an amazing atmosphere there, very, very gentle. It's very dry. And anyone who's thinking of coming down here, and particularly if they come down on the 16th of August to Reclaim the Power, we're going to respect the wishes of the people who are already here. So the camp will be dry. There's absolutely no alcohol on site, which I think is brilliant. And then what happens is trucks turn up every I saw 3 trucks in an hour. So everyone, a big gong is rung, and all the people go out, and they don't block the roads because the police will just arrest you if you block. So they basically slow it down until it goes in. There's a lot of police, I'd say about 150 are here, or 100, maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe about 100. What was lovely was that the locals have got a choir together, and they have a song that's based on Jerusalem, William Blake's beautiful song, and they've rephrased it, so it's all about fracking. And there's a great atmosphere, but they've all said the same thing. Everyone who's here echoes it. The people I've just been putting through the letterbox, all the adverts for the community meeting, all totally in support of more people coming to help them win this. Now, it's a really interesting situation. This is one of the poshest villages I've been to in my life. This is your classic Daily Mail village. But everyone I've spoken to will say, yes, I am right-wing. This is a very right-wing area, but I am not anymore. We're in horror at our MP. He's completely let us down. He's not going to get our votes anymore, that's for sure. We don't want fracking here, and we're very concerned with the fact that it's been pushed through without proper listening to the community.
So, Jamie,
there's a whole lot of propaganda out there. Yes.
Let me ask you, how have the locals taken to all of these, a whole bunch of committed people suddenly showing up with all sorts of ideas?
Yeah. So that's come up in quite a few of the conversations I've had, and they already know the answer because they've already met lots of activists who've come down in support. So they realise that the way we're being portrayed is very different to the way we actually are. That's why the meeting in the community hall will be an opportunity for them to question us and get the real picture of what our intentions are.
Okay, so just to make sure that our listeners understand and to catch people up with this, the Reclaim the Power, which is the action that has come out of No Dash for Gas. No Dash for Gas was an amazing action that happened at West Burton Power Station. The follow-on action from No Dash for Gas is Reclaim the Power, and that was due for a large number of people to go back to West Burton Power Station. And the big news of the day is that Reclaim the Power have decided to take all their people and all their facilities and go to the Balcombe protest, which is an absolutely amazing feat, I think, of flexibility and activism to go with the tides and work with what's happening. And so that's coming up. What's the dates for Reclaim the Power? It's the 16th, I think, isn't it?
16th of August to the 21st of August, 16 to 21.
Yeah, and people are welcome to come down to that and join in. And I mean, it's pretty kind of historic the way that's happened for a large protest to shift in that way, to back up an action as the times are changing and to move with what's happening.
Yeah, it's absolutely. That's why there were tears on Sunday. I mean, the infrastructure and the strategy is incredibly impressive. I mean, I'm here with a team of people and we're going and posting letters to every door already. The letter was only written last night.
Yeah.
Lots of people didn't sleep last night. So the organisation is very, very tight and teeth. Yeah, and it's exciting that you've got a large group that's able to just twitch like that. But then that's part of the sort of nature of activism. We should be able to do that and ride the wave.
Exactly.
Or as that little goddess called Tammy Smead says, flow with the go.
Tammy Smead, yeah, she says flow with the go. That's so right. And like you say, the meeting was really, really emotional. I think it was really, I popped in and was with you for an hour or something at that meeting. Yeah. And, you know, the passion and, like you say, the tears that were involved in that, I think really speak to how much commitment people have around trying to do something about climate emergency.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up. I have the most respect for the people who are working in RTP, because what you're looking at are people who are definitely not being paid, but they are people who are from backgrounds like Climate Camp or Occupies, you know, who have basically gone, I'm going to go and nothing, this isn't threatening them in their backyards. We're down in Balcombe, it's not our backyard. But what's happening here is going to be happening right across the country, and they're willing to give up their time, a lot of them are willing to give up their liberty in order to force this through and stop this dash for gas.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, and people can come down. That's open for people to come down and join in. And like you say, it's a fairly gentle thing at the moment. Would you say that's fair? So if you're not experienced with direct action or something,
it's very gentle. Yeah.
So there's loads of ways that you can get involved that won't be risking arrest or risking any physical harm. So if you're concerned about the environment, if you're concerned about fracking, if you're interested and perhaps you think, I'm not quite sure how to engage, this is a great moment to really engage in some action and find out what's going on.
Yeah, well said. Let me add to that. People who are concerned about what may be happening anywhere in the country, you're going to be having the opportunity over the next 5 days to have skills and skill share and workshops from the people who are the most experienced activists in the country, and they want to share their skills so that people can bring them back to their own campaigns as fracking is trying to frack anywhere else in the UK. So it's a great opportunity for people who are interested in entering the world of activism to get an induction period of 5 days from probably the most experienced activists.
You're getting wavy hands from here, this side, Jamie.
Okay, that's great. Hey, wave your hands back. Listen, I've got a tiny bit of juice left. Any more questions?
One more, Jamie. I was just curious if at this point has Quadrilla come out and said anything? Are they trying to talk to the community, or are they just keeping stum?
Good question. Yes, this is a really good thing to end on. Check this out, listeners. Amazingly, Quadrilla sent a message to the people of Balcombe yesterday, saying we would really like to apologise for the inconvenience of those protesters outside the gates. We really like to apologise, and of course the local protesters are from this village, right? So they've all written a letter back. So no, I think you should be apologising for the inconvenience of poisoning our water aquifers, ignoring our democratic wishes not to have you here. They wrote a wicked letter back, basically. But that's Quadrilla fallen flat on their face straight away.
That's good to hear, Jamie. All right, you carry on doing your thing, man. Thanks for talking to us.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah,
Love you.
yeah, see you soon. Love you guys, and I really hope your listeners take Reclaim the Power seriously. Please do come down. It's going to be, it could be a game changer. That's what it's going to be. All the best.
Keep it lit, Jay.
Keep it lit, Jamie.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, man.
That was Jamie Kelsey Fry, activist, writer, poet, amazing character extraordinaire.
General legend. I'm sorry if that was breaking up a bit there for you listeners. They're out in the country there. Jamie's coming through to us as loud as he can, but I'm sure you got the vibe of what he was talking about.
That's the whole thing, because like that's the whole exciting thing about Balcombe is that it's an actual struggle unfolding in front of our faces. It's not like some campaign that's been going for however long, and there's just a kind of long organized build-up. This is something that's just arising, and people are just going to it. So
yeah.
I mean, it reminds me of those early days of occupying St. Paul's. Like when there was just nobody really knew what was going on, but everyone's like, we don't know what's going on exactly, but we like it. Get down there, do the stuff, get involved.
Yeah, and also because it's got that sort of cross-community thing, like you said, it's a sort of Tory heartland, that community, really. So it's pretty amazing. I think some of the most special things in activism happen when different communities come together. I think that's sort of super important. I think that's where change lies, when different groups come together with similar aims.
This is Ali's theory of change.
Yeah, my theory of change.
Because I haven't read any of your books yet. I'm sorry. So it's a good thing you give us the snippets.
It's all in the post, baby. It's all in the post.
I can't wait to see the diagrams.
Yeah.
The circles cross over the triangles, the A's and the B's and the C's.
Beautiful. So Jamie mentioned that the Balcombe MP was going down in the estimation Francis Maud is going down in the estimation of the community, and I found a pretty amazing article about something about Francis Maud. So this is pretty interesting. Listen to this. Balcombe MP Francis Maud appointed Lord Brown a director of Quadrilla Resource Holdings Limited to the Cabinet Office in June 2010. The Quadrilla executive works closely with the Cabinet Office board, chaired by Maud, in his role as lead non-executive. On appointing Brown, Maud said his experience will be a real benefit to make Whitehall work in a more business-like manner.
It's funny because when you said that, I mean, just whenever I hear just, horrible elite political business slimy tycoons start speaking their stuff, I just phase out.
Did you phase out during that? Well, what it basically meant was they're all in each other's pockets. The MP for the area where the fracking is happening, Balcombe, has appointed this dude a director of Quadrilla Resource. Quadrilla Resource is the company that's organising the fracking. What has he appointed him to? To the Cabinet Office. So basically it all just means they're all in each other's pockets and it's all an inside job, as per freaking usual.
And then they go to the trouble of apologising to the community. Who are the people protesting? Sorry about yourselves being there. Sorry for the inconvenience you're causing yourself because you hate us.
Because you don't want us to wreck your land and your water. It's interesting actually listening to some of the snippets that you put into the song at the beginning of the show when we were talking about fracking. I think was it last week at the Peace News camp broadcast. I was trying to explain in a rather daft way what fracking was, and one of the things I said was it disturbs the tectonic plates or something, and then I sort of corrected myself and went, oh no, this is a bit too weird. And then I read and saw in a lot of reports that fracking has in fact caused small earthquakes.
Yeah, it does.
So that's true. That is actually true. It's caused small earthquakes. That's ridiculous.
But it makes money, Ali. You don't seem to understand it.
No,
money.
And it's poisoned water, and people are having weird illnesses and things from the poisoning in the water.
I know. But look, we're coming to the end of the show. And that's my job to always say that.
So, okay, so we're coming to the end of this episode of Grassroots Takeover.
They don't know what you're laughing at, Ali. They don't know what you're laughing at. Just forget about
I'm laughing at you, Mark.
Right.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We're very excited about Reclaim the Power. We hope you're going to come up there. We hope you're going to get involved. It's going to be an amazing opportunity to meet some amazing people, to learn some great stuff about activism and have some fun, and to protect, help in the struggle to protect the land around Balcombe from the fracking companies that are trying to bugger it up. So Yeah, we're going to see you there. Are we going to report from there next week, or is that going to be the week after? Is there going to be a show in between there?
It's hard to say, isn't it?
It's
I mean,
hard
we
to
need
say.
we need to have our little show huddle to decide.
So we might be coming to you next time from Balcombe, or we might pop up somewhere first, but we're certainly going to Balcombe pretty damn soon to get involved in that.
So before we do go, I suppose we need to explain that, as far as I'm aware, that the hunger strike in Guantanamo Bay is still going on. They're still being forced to accept liquefied food up the nose because they are basically wanting to die with dignity.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just coming to the end of, I think, Ramadan. Does Ramadan end on the 7th or the 8th? It's just coming into the end of Ramadan at the moment. So there was like a concession made in the agonising force feeding that it would only be done very, very early in the morning or very, very late at night, either side of the fasting period for Ramadan.
I didn't realise.
So that's considerate, I think. But
it's actually quite tasteful when you think about it.
There's actually an amazing video that an American rapper made about the painful process of force feeding. So it's pretty tough, actually, so don't watch it unless you've got the stomach for it. But yeah, we'll post that online. And we're going to play a song. The reason we're talking about Guantanamo Bay and hunger striking is because we're going to play a song about that, which has been written by PJ Harvey in honour of Shaka Armour. Shaka Armour is the last British person to be held in Guantanamo Bay. He's been held in Guantanamo Bay for 11 years. He's actually even according to the American government, guilty of no crime. He's been cleared for release by both President Bush and President Obama, and he's still being held in Guantanamo and force-fed, he's now very, very sick. He's been on a hunger strike for a very long time. But yeah, he's been cleared for release by both Bush and Obama, and he's in there for some shitty paperwork reason or I can't even explain or remember exactly what the reason is that he's still in there, like literally some procedural bullshit that he's still being held in there, and he's so skinny. And I would just like to say, for fuck's sake, that has gone beyond an absolute joke. For God's sake, bring Shaka Armour back. There's a petition that you can sign, which has got lots and lots of signatures. We'll post that as well to bring back Shaka Armour. So sending you our love. I want to cry. Sending you our love, Shaka Armour and his PJ Harvey song in tribute to Shaka.
See you later.